Here we go. Just taking a sip in my coffee cup, my mug. First things first, I'm going to avoid my last week's mistake, which was to forget switching scenes in OBS, so I am going directly to painting. Going to put the window here. Well. So, one chat window here, the other is down there. Where did I put it? Oh no, I don't have it actually. I have it on my tablet. So basically today we're starting off not from scratch, because I already have made some quick doodles, some that pretty much summarize what I want to do for this new illustration. It will be a fantasy oriented illustration, but also kind of a study. It will be a great occasion for me a great opportunity to finally have a strong reference for an illustration that I'm doing, and still having to incorporate, I don't know if you say incorporate in English, putting fantasy elements in it. But I have all the background is an existing place, so to sum it up, it's going to be really interesting, maybe a little frustrating for me, because I'll have to be quite tough on myself. So I haven't scanned. I've taken photographs of my sketches, which I'm going to recover from my mailbox, I think. Also, if you're already there, don't hesitate to give me a feedback about the volume, if the music's too loud. As usual, I've run tests before going live, but if you feel like my voice is too loud or the music is taking over my speech, my delicious speech, which as always is not going to last the whole stream, I hope, because when I tend to speak too much while working, I lose a great amount of time. So where is that down mail? There it is. There I go. No, I can just drag and drop it. Okay, what the fuck is that music? Okay, so that's the point where I stop playing my playlist randomly, because as much as I love Portal 2, it can be a bit it's not. It doesn't have this always all tracks in Portal 2 OST aren't work friendly. I think. Well, not for me. What am I going to play? Because I always play the same things over and over, but they seem to work quite well. I'm going to go with the Witcher 3 soundtrack. I'm going to create a new document which will be the size of the clipboard. I think I may need to do a quick calibration because my tablet, there was a little offset between the pointer and my pen. So that's all good. Yep. Okay. I just lowered the volume, not because my microphone does not pick up a very loud sound from my speakers, but just to stay focused, I had just to lower the volume of the output. What am I doing actually? I'm image adjustments. No, oh yeah. So those are the sketches which I did on very small pieces of paper. Because a doodle is, I'm not going to say it's always better. When it's the smaller it is, the better. And that's not the point. Often I just have to bring back the window, the Watch Me Work window, in case any one of you just asks me something about doodling and sketching an illustration or an idea. I'm going to say particularly for illustration, when you draw your thing on a little canvas like this, what I did, this eraser is bullshit. As you can see, this is pretty much this is my phone there, so it gives you an idea of the size of my sketches. Basically, when you're drawing on a little in a little frame, whether it's because you have a piece of paper that's really small, or that you, like I did there, drew the canvas of your illustration, or if you're like a comic artist, the size of your, I don't know actually what's the right words in English for a square. No, not a square. Well, the box in which you draw when you draw comics. I'm going to get to my point. I swear I'm going to, and then I'm going to get to work. First, okay, this is better, much better. Drawing small is a good way to quickly visualize what you're doing and what you're going to do for the next probably a few hours, or maybe a few days if you're working on a particularly big project or important illustration. So I don't remember which was the first. I think I did this one first because I was thinking, oh, there could be this girl on her horse, and she could be really close to the camera. Then I realized that even though it was maybe a good idea for a poster, it looks more like a book cover on a small, which is relatively small. It's just a few, maybe 20 centimeters high or long, and 15-18 centimeter wide. I don't know. I don't have a ruler, and I certainly can't tell you what the inch equivalent is, because I've really no appreciation of distances in inches. So this was maybe a little too close to the horse, particularly the horse. I have to stop saying particularly because it's too difficult to pronounce. I have to come up with another word which is more fluent in my mouth. So anyway, I then switched to this idea with the frame basically set up like this, and if we zoom in order to kinda get a clear view of the final, supposedly the final result, this would be like this. Of course I have to do this. But the problem with this composition is we have not enough space in this area to put words like Hi, I'm Val. So this is obviously not what's going to be written in the end. But if I put this, I don't know yet if I'm going to make this creature a dragon, or maybe a hippogriff, or I'm afraid if I do if I make it not a phoenix, damn it. Listening to The Witcher 3 is a pretty terrible idea, because of course I'm looking for the first monster that you slay in The Witcher 3, which is God, I lost it. A griffin, of course. That's stupid because it's pretty much the same word in French. Just change one letter. Anyway, this creature in the background is way too high in the composition, so that's why I have to make sure that whatever my composition is, I must consider that, well, this top part here is a no-go zone, a no-draw zone, if I can put it that way. I just can't put anything up there. Everything has to fit in this, well, in this area, which is the format is A2, which is a European format. If you're American, I assume you have your own paper printing size and ratios, but the A ratios are most common ratio when it comes to printing. And A2 is like, again, if you don't know what a centimeter is, I can't help you with the conversion in inches. Well, let's see. Oh, I just bumped into the microphone. Sorry for that. So, I'm going to create a file which will be half the size, the final size. So, US paper, yes, that's it. International paper. What common people do. What most of the world works with. Name. Poster. I'm going to change the name afterwards. Anyway. So if I go for actually I can do I've got A4, A6, A5, A3. I can't create there's no preset for A2. That's perfect, because as I was saying, I'm going to first create a canvas that will be half the size of the final file. So half of a A3 is A2 is an A3, which is, so as you can see, 297 millimeters by 420 millimeters, not centimeters. In inches, okay, so you have the measures in inches. Resolution 300 pixels per inch, which is the standard print size. What I'm going to stay with RGB, even though it's going to be printed in the end. So when you print something, you have to work with a CMYK file. But I will. That's the final thing I will do is check for check if my illustration works good with a CMYK, and if it doesn't, I'll have to do some parts, some colors again, or apply filters that are CMYK friendly. Sorry, I'm just going to grab water because I didn't intend to speak that much. But if you're listening, I'm grateful for that, and talking non-stop is really the number one reason for thirst in the world. Of course not. That was a bad joke. I'm back. So, as I was saying, let's create this document, and once I've set up most of the composition, the colors, the general colors, when I'll have to get into the details of the illustration, then I'll upgrade. Let's say that. No, I'll upscale it by 100%. So, what is the size? Canvas size. So, as you can see, I'm going to work with. Oh, that's pretty. I thought it would be higher. So 3,508 pixels wide, 4,961 pixels high. Okay. Back to the subject matter of this illustration. So it's taking place. Which reminds me, I have to grab the photograph, which is somewhere here. Yes, I have the reference pictures there. So there are two pictures which are interesting. Those two. This one is cool too. But why do I have them in double? I don't know. I really don't know. That's weird. It's like I just... Okay, I don't know. Just going to drag and drop them in my canvas, into my canvas. So this is the place where it's going to be. It's in France. Because if you haven't noticed yet, I'm French. And it's going to be basically the background of the illustration. Our protagonists are going to be a winged creature in the background chasing us. Pretty much, it's really at this point it's not even. I'm not even going to be like, oh, I know I'm not just going for something that looks like it. I'm going to no. This is going to look like a Witcher 3 scene, basically, when you're chased, or when you're chasing a creature, which is a flying creature. You have those shots where they are, well, not those shots, but when they are going and taking a long turn before coming right back to you and charging you from the air. Well, it's going to be some kind of something like that in the background. In the foreground, we have this. We will have the vines. So I can't draw. I have to. The vines, which are pretty much everywhere, and really are a good way to. No, I don't know why I started this sentence. It just does not go anywhere. So the vines and this rider lady, and she's going to while riding away from the menace that will be the griffin or the dragon. I'm going to go for a dragon, I think, because a griffin will be really too much similar with the Witcher. But she leans on the side and grabs a hobbit that was wandering about in the vines, or maybe eating grapes. That would be fun. Like if he just was walking there and having a good time, and there comes the rider, and she grabs him by his backpack or his collar. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. And he's going to. I have to get the dynamic right, the horse anatomy right too. I might have something useful somewhere, but I don't know really where it is. So that's basically what I'm going to illustrate. Now for the first part, and I'm just realizing that I've been talking for 30 minutes and not drawing a single thing. If you're still there, if you're listening, please tell me to shut up if you find this boring, and tell me, Val, get to work. Stop blabbering. So first things first, I'm going to sketch the colors, basically. I have a brush I used for a previous illustration, which is supposed to be a watercolor brush. It's pretty good, actually. What's good with it is that it gives you a kind of blurry picture to work with. So this is the most interesting part. I'm going to try rasterizing this and working the hue and the saturation, mainly the saturation. Not too much, but oh, okay. All my windows are on my main screen. Like the red. No, I don't want that much red, but if I can preview that. Okay, red, green would be good. No, not in the highlights, but okay, no, that's too much. Just can't tell. For a minute I just thought I had forgotten not to switch the scene in OBS, but to activate the microphone. That would have been pathetic. Really pathetic. So I'm going to use and just color pick with no shame at all the sky, the color of the sky, which is pretty good. I like this. I think it's going to look like something like this in the end. Okay, so this is nice. Actually, it might end up being the some things that I'm going to put in the illustration now maybe will stay in the illustration until the end with nothing. Well, I maybe I just leave those cloudy first shot. This first shot at the clouds will maybe be. Oh, I'm just going to kill myself if I continue stuttering like that. What I'm saying basically is the clouds might look good from just a simple stroke with that brush in the sky. I doubt it. I really doubt it, but maybe. You never know. You never know. What I was saying earlier with the whole speech about drawing little sketches basically is what I use. That's why I use the navigator on the side here, because it gives me a glimpse of what the overall picture looks like. First I have to maybe just okay, so up there should not be anything relevant to the illustration, because there's going to be a title and stuff written. The absolute limit, I think, it will be this. No. Which means the focus of the illustration should be there, really. Now, what I'm going to do, just create a new layer and reuse this. make a smaller version of this and use it as a reference and switch it on and off. Also, I have to keep in mind which kind of composition I'm going for. I'm going after. I don't know which is the right way to say it. This is not going to look like anything at first. I'm going to zoom out. This way I can really monitor what I'm doing with my picture. No, that's not what I want to do. Yes, maybe a little. Those are pretty dark colors. I have to remember what my point of view will be throughout all my illustration process. It's something I have to keep in mind. Right now it's not very clear, obviously, because I've not yet drawn any perspective or anything. Well, in the background there will be buildings. This is the perfect music, by the way. Okay, so with trees, I think just going to scale it down a bit more, and this I'm going to okay, so the problem is I drew. Okay, I understand. This is the problem. Could you erase, please, computer? Thank you. So there are really interesting colors in the lines. So I better try to put them in already. Like some red. Of course, more green. But more yellow into this green would be good. Dark green. So what I'm doing right now is just mixing things on the canvas and trying to come up with like an art direction for this illustration. And color picking is a good way to find interesting ideas regarding the colors, because you, like on a color palette, you mix colors, and you, by picking the result of your experiments. Right now it does, well, it's not really amazing. I have to stop doing that. So that what I'm forgetting is a little brownish there, here and there. Also, well, I'm not doing that already, but kind of starting suggesting the perspective that all the vine is creating. Again, I'm going to flatten this a little bit, because there will be vines here. I don't know. I am pretty sure that it's not going to match, to perfectly match the reality of the place I'm painting in the background, like all those vines coming down perfectly like this way. I really doubt it's going to match the reality, but so I have to start thinking about the character, obviously, the characters. This is really like I said, it's a sketch, but with colors. I don't know if it's realistic enough or anything, but as I'm painting, I'm basically watching what is the result in the navigator up there. So it's the poster will be for an event which takes place in the summer. So obviously I'll have to figure out what are the best colors for something, for my scene to look really like it's taking place during your vacations. Okay, so more. I don't think it's the right color, but maybe little more blue would be good. Stop doing that. But again, it's going to be the background, so I'll just dim the create an exaggerated atmospheric perspective. I'll do that in a second time. Okay, so that's pretty good. The bottom of the illustration will be pretty much like the top, a no-draw zone, because there will be logos, I think, and stuff that have to be easily readable. So my first proposition, I'm going to duplicate it, just accentuate the perspective, and by stretching. Okay, because my female rider will be somewhere like here, I think. I'm going to just that's a bit lazy, but it's maybe the best way to keep in mind the scale and this horse is going to be such a pain to draw. I think I'm going to grab an anatomy school work I did like 3 years ago. Oh God, 4 years ago? No, 3 years. I'm not sure. No. It was 4 or 5 years ago. Now, okay, 4 years ago I did. We had an assignment in our anatomy course, and we had to draw horses, like skeletons, muscles, versions of horses. I think it pretty much matches what I'm looking for in this illustration. This is really quick speed painting, really just trying to focus on the overall shape of the horse and her and the rider, rather than the correct anatomy and everything. such a perspective on a horse, like a front view, almost a front view is. I'll have to look for pretty strong reference for that, to be able to work with it. I'm going to open my because instead of constantly looking, switching between those scenes, I can just take the sketches and look at them directly. Okay, so this is... I'm doing it wrong. I'm already starting to... I'm trying to draw the horse's ears, and that's stupid. I just have to not do that. I'm just drawing a shape which I hope will match. It's pretty good, I think. That's almost what I had drawn previously. So she reaches for the Hobbit. Maybe I should upscale her. So let's suppose there's a dragon. I've been drawing dragons in my illustrations for months now. Why not exploit that knowledge? Okay, so there's a flying dragon coming right at you, but wow, there's his wings almost parallel to our point of view. But I don't care, that's just sketching. No, that's not good. This is pretty interesting that it has to overlap at some point. There's a problem there in this region of the... How is it going to overlap with the girl? This is a problem, because if it's too close, I'll really have to work perfectly on the horse. Maybe it's the good size. With her hair going like... I should make her lean a bit more. Like this. with her legs on the horse's side. Maybe it's a bit too much at this point. Oh, I just figured I could do something that would prevent me from drawing from having to draw the horse itself. Like the most annoying part of the horse will be the okay, I'm going to do that. There will be vines here. Like there's a row of vines in which she's riding, and there will be the row of vines where the hobbit will be. The problem is it's a bit too... This is pretty good, I think. Still a problem around her head. Well, even if I still have to draw a lot of the horse, it will be interesting, I think. Like she reaches for him over the vines, and yeah, it might be interesting. So the dragon, for now, I don't give a fuck. Pardon my French, if I might say so. That's funny because I'm French. And what we might do is accentuate like way more what's going on. The horizon line, okay, really going this way. Yes, it's better, it's much better, I think. The problem is I'm working with shapes right now, shadows, and in the end it's all a matter of light and brightness and everything like that. And highlights and everything and all this stuff. So my horse is not a horse right now. I don't know what it is, actually. Oh, my coffee's cold. Oh. Oh, I just saw that Tsukio Itawa is hosting me on Twitch. Thank you very much. Thank you. I know you host me regularly, and for that I'm grateful. All the weight of the Hobbit is going to be in the pose of her arm. She's going to be a red head, I don't know. which one is the right. Remember, I'm not getting into the illustration. I'm just figuring out lights and rough values. Obviously, I'm not going to stream forever tonight, but now that I've started this illustration, well, I think you're going to be able to see a lot more of me on streaming my process. So probably tomorrow. Well, I will have to pick up some reference for this, for the skin tone and everything. Okay, right now, because I chose to use the dark blue as a base color for the shadow, she looks like I've forgotten her name, Merida from Brave. That's not my intention, obviously. She's not going to be all frizzy, her hair is not going to be all frizzy and stuff. It will be more like long, shiny red hair. Yes, like Now I'm a bit worried now that I think about it. I'm a bit worried that she looks too much from afar, that people think she is actually Merida from Brave. I'll have to find a way, a clever way to... Okay. Because initially on the sketch she had a bow, which is a good way to make somebody who just sees the picture quickly. Oh, this is medieval. This is not a horse competition or something. This is a huntress, maybe, or an elf, for instance. But if okay, maybe I'll have to find some very subtle way not to interfere with, so that people don't think it's a Brave fan art. The bow is maybe a good idea just to suggest. Maybe leather. Okay, I'm going to, when I get into the illustration part, like pretty seriously, I'll have to get a whole bunch of reference. So right now it's a bit confused. It's a bit confusing. This is better. This is way better. Maybe she could have gloves, which is not very intuitive if you think about it for a second. Because if you're in summer, you're going to suffer a lot if you're wearing gloves. The problem will be, also, it's obviously for a poster, so the amount of realism is going to be reasonable. Like, enough but not too much at the same time. So maybe she has gloves. Going to try finishing my cold coffee. Okay, maybe this is a better point of view, because this is basically saying, okay, there are vines here and there, which are good, which is good because this will prevent me from having to draw too much rose in the background, which could look not so good, actually. End up looking funny. So, this is Shovel Knight. So we've subtly switched from The Witcher 3 to Shovel Knight, which is an amazing soundtrack. Maybe not really as good as it's not really the perfect soundtrack for this particular illustration, but okay, so this is still a sketch. Remember, this is still a sketch. Nothing definitive in this. Okay, so she could have a leg going this way. You could see her leg in the shadow. There. Okay. Horses. Horses are a pain in every illustrator's ass until you've made enough pictures including horses, and you're a fucking badass horse illustrator. But until then, you're gonna have a hard time. That's, I can tell you. As I was saying, the pose of her arm is going to be really important in conveying the feeling of weight of this guy. It's going to have to be like this. Oh no, that's not Shovel Knight's soundtrack, that's Shovel Knight cover album. That's stupid.
Stood proud, defying the forces of evil guarded by Arthur and his magical sword, Excalibur! Now there are many who would see this great land fall. These stalwart knights will stop them through chivalry, honor, and teamwork. Go nuts, defend the realm.
No, that's maybe not the best color to use, but I'm not going to put more details in it, detailing it. She's really saving his ass. So he has to look absolutely silly. Oh, okay. What's the problem in the plugin? I really got to use the perspective of his body in the best way. So, as you can see, it's a bit confusing. For now, it's not exactly perfect because there's a lot of confusion between the background elements in there. What I can do, however, would be to use a overlay. No, not overlay. Liner dodge. Maybe. No. Nope. Color dodge. Screen. Maybe. This is giving too much of a I'll have to move the tower because if it's there just above the Hobbit's hand, it's a really bad idea. Like if I just do this and move it using this. I think it's not great, but okay, this is terrible. I'll be better off just doing this. Okay, this is way better. So I will fix those problems at some point. Anyway, like maybe if it's really a problem. This is still a sketch, so I think I'm worrying a lot for nothing. Okay, so you, sir, are very problematic. Okay, so this is 9:30. Well, in France it's 9:30. I'm going to stop here, and I think tomorrow I will continue working on this illustration. So if you happen to be looking at your Twitch channel subscriptions, and or if you're watching on Watch Me Work, you will see the next steps probably tomorrow. So here we go. Have a nice, as always, have a nice evening, have a nice day, have a nice morning if you're just waking up, which I doubt is possible. Yes, maybe it is. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow or another Thursday. Bye bye.